Welcome, listeners, to the Youth Rise podcast, a platform dedicated for the voices of youth in various communities to talk about a plethora of social dividing topics added with a wide range of personal stories. I'm your host, Queenie Gong, and today I am joined with Natascha Borromeo in this two-part episode series. Natascha is a good friend of mine and someone who I have known for years. In part 1, we dive deep into discussing high school life, social standards, and transitions in one's life. Although there are off-topic moments in this podcast, this conversation is super relatable for many youth today. Hope you all enjoy. So Natascha, how about you first introduce yourself and let everyone know some important details about your life, your background, and your hobbies.
Hi everybody, I'm Natascha and I'm a grade 12 student at Rockridge Secondary School. I'm Filipino and I sing and swim.
So Natascha, you're currently a graduating senior and you have pretty much, I believe that you have experienced like the whole high school life from elementary school all the way to the end of high school. What would you say was the most meaningful or memorable part of your high school career? And you can minus all the stressful like studying sessions or like studying for tests. So yeah, what was the most memorable one for you?
I would definitely say the people. Just these few years, high school years, are definitely all about finding yourself and finding your group and what you like. And I think definitely having experiences with my peers and seeing the way that different people interact with their passions and also their different perspectives, I think has been really meaningful to me. Not just like making connections with friends, but also in terms of like coaching younger kids for swimming or collaborating with other artists for singing. It has been just such a great opportunity to meet people from all walks of life.
Yeah, for me too, like going to school is not a fun part of my day. Yeah. However, like meeting my friends and just hanging out with them and spending like breaks or lunch talking to them and just like catching up, I think that's like probably the highlight of my day, because other than that, I'm pretty much stuck at home just doing homework, so it's kind of like so stressful other than that. But you did talk a bit about like your band and your music career, so like how about you go into more detail about how you kind of like met your band members or how you got into music in the first place and how that slowly progressed as you grew up?
I think it was, well, with meeting my band, it was all kind of circumstance, because I had signed, it was a crazy story, like I had signed up for what I thought was a film class because it was called production and composition. But I walk into the class on the first day and I find out that it's like a music class. And I was like, well, I think it's too late, so I'm just going to go with it. And in that class, I met my now producer and guitarist of my band, as well as my rhythmic guitarist and my bassist. So I basically met like my entire band and my entire like music making group there. And it was just such a great experience to be able to have that time to make music. And I think as I've grown up, music has kind of evolved from a hobby into more of something that I think I want to pursue in the future. I think it started out as just like listening to like the radio with my dad in the car for like our hour drives in the morning. And slowly it kind of turned into like karaoke at parties, and then Filipinos love to sing and jam, so we were like, they always wanted me to sing. And I think it just helped me gain my confidence until I finally was able to release a song, which was a super duper cool experience. That's when I kind of realized that, hey, maybe I can kind of make money out of this, even if it's just like maybe $20 from streams, or like, actually it was pretty cool. We got our first check. It was for like $200 each for a festival that we did, and that was super rewarding. Yes, and one of the best parts about music for me is being able to express yourself, and just having like sharing emotion through music is the best feeling ever. So
yeah, that sounds amazing. And just like something piqued my curiosity is that currently like in high school, I feel like there are many students who are interested in music. However, they think of like, especially like posting it on like official platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music, they're really scared of like their friends' opinion or like just like their social group of people like making fun of them. Because I do have a friend who like, or someone I knew of who like posted and then like it got like sent out into group chats and then people started making fun of him. So like, how did you like, if you know about this, how did you like personally, how do you personally think of it, and how would you deal with it for your personal experience?
Well, in high school, as I said, everyone's just trying to figure themselves out. And I think a lot of that kind of comes out in insecurity. And that's a big thing. Like, people who are insecure will ridicule others because they're doing things that they could never do, you know? So it takes so much courage to push through that sort of worry that other people are going to judge you. But it's vital. It's one of the main things that you have to do if you ever want to be successful in anything, I feel. And I don't know, for me, I think I was just very confident in my talents. And I thought that if I was so worried about what other people would think that I wouldn't put it out there, then I would never know how it would go ever. And so with that thing, like people being scared and not having the confidence, I started something at the youth hub, and it's youth open mics. So every month we have one night a week where we have like 4 hours where people can just come in and perform anything they want to perform, like, but they have to be youth, obviously. And we've had things like poetry, we've had rap, we've had singing, we've had piano. There have just been like a variety of things, and people from like all over West Van, North Van, downtown have come, and it was just so cool to see how art kind of brings everybody together. And I was really proud of being able to create that sort of safe environment. It was really enjoyable. Yeah.
I actually didn't know that you made that, but it sounds great because like you're kind of in like a community where like everyone has the same interests and the same passions.
True.
And like if you were to be worried about like what other people thought, you really shouldn't be in that environment, because like everyone is kind of in the same mindset and has like the same passions. So yeah, I think that's amazing that you made that. So in your introduction, you also said that you are a swimmer.
Yes.
So I'm also a swimmer, for those who don't know, and I actually met Natascha through swimming. So you're a national swimmer and you're also a high school senior, plus also being a musician. So that sounds like a lot for many people our age. So like, how do you really deal with the pressure of training, competing, plus studying for like doing homework, studying for tests, and also just like overall navigating the transition from being a teenager to becoming a young adult?
Oh my gosh, that's such like a heavy question.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I think I'll start. I think I'll probably start with like the balancing part. I have struggled like so much with consistency, and even now I still have a really hard time like going home and making sure that I'm studying my material like every week for school. And it is tough to balance, and sometimes things do get sacrificed, like some band practices I can't make, or some swim practices I might come late to, and things like that. But overall, I think when I have all these things in my head, it really helps to write it down or talk it out, because I know I'm capable of doing it. Everybody is capable of doing like amazing things, but it's just the matter of what's in your head and your goals, you know? Because if you're not like really streamlined and you don't know exactly what you want to do, you won't get there. And I think it's like, I mean, not to say that I've got there, but like,
it's all been through hard work. Like nothing is given for free. That's obvious. And
so
like
true.
I've seen you like over the years, you did really try really hard over the couple of years. So yeah, I think like you really overcome all the challenges. And you also have like a really great relationship with all your peers, your friends, and your families. So I feel like whenever you are met with like a tough situation, you always just like kind of let yourself like talk it out with other people, and then it just makes the situation a lot better. So
True. Yes, people make me happy.
Yeah.
Well, not make me happy, but
Yeah.
I feel happy.
Her MBTI, she's an E.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like in
that's so
between
true.
I and E. So, oh yeah, the second part of the question, because you kind of talked about balancing, right?
Yeah.
So like, I guess this is a really big question, but like navigating the
Yeah.
transition from being a teenager to becoming a young adult, because you're like a week away from her birthday is next week.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah.
she's a week away from being 18. So that sounds crazy for the both of us, because I've known her since I was like 12 or 13.
So young.
And then now she can drive by herself. She could do things, and she's going to university. She's going to like live by herself soon. So yeah, how has that been for you overall?
Well, honestly, I don't think being an adult is determined by age, because even my parents say they're still trying to figure it out. And they already have a kid, they already have a house, they're paying bills and taxes. And to be honest, if it makes anyone feel better, I think that no one ever really has it like fully figured out, you know? And we're always still growing. Like, just because you're at the age where you have to pay taxes or like you have your own house or stuff, it doesn't mean that, you know, you're adult and you're completely responsible and you have to have everything together. And I think that's something I have to like learn better.
Yeah.
Because, you know, those times when you're like really hard on yourself because you think, oh, this is such like a beginner mistake or kind of things like that. But then I realized you have to give yourself forgiveness, because it's like you're still learning. And honestly, like, this is so scary to talk about, like, becoming an adult and, like, living by myself, because that's not something I ever really
For me,
on.
I feel like I'm excited for, like, because I'm only in my junior year, but, like, I'm excited to graduate, because I feel like my whole life I've been very dependent on my parents, and it's, like, kind of time for me to learn to be independent, and then, like, kind of, like, yes, you said, like, you'll make mistakes, obviously, but then, like, that's how you actually learn, because if you stay dependent on, like, people, then it's, like, you'll never learn, and that's true. So, along the lines of we were just previously talking about, like, the whole transition from becoming a young adult from a teenager, right now in society, there's kind of like these social norms put in place, especially with like a lot of social media going around. There are a lot of high expectations for both teenagers and young adults. So personally for you, how do you really deal with this in your life, and how do you look at it for like other people as well?
I think that's a really great question. Well, with social media, it becomes so much easier for kids to have access to these accounts where they just easily compare themselves to. And I think that's just so dangerous, because then it sets this kind of expectation for everybody on what they think you should look like, on how they think you should act, when in reality, who is they? It's just crazy to think that some of the actions that you're making are dictated by someone who you don't even know, you know, or someone who doesn't care about you. You know, and that's when it really just comes down to, what do you want to do? And you really have to look into yourself and find like what you're interested in, what you like, and don't let what other people are wearing or what other people are saying affect your own passions. And that's always been such a tough thing with me, because I think a lot of people have this issue of being like a people pleaser. And I'm a huge people pleaser. Like, I cannot stand the thought of someone not liking me.
And also, like, I was thinking when you were talking, like, what's wrong with being, like, different? Because if you think about it, like, social media, like, the trends about, like, if we're talking specifically about fashion, for example, like, if you're looking at trends online and you personally like them, go for it and buy it. But then, like, if you're doing it just because it's a trend, like, you're slowly gonna see that, like, everyone wears the same thing. And, like, individuality and, like, creativity, like, you don't really see it anymore. And, like, if you think about it, like, being different, that's, like, actually how the trend starts. Because, like, if you never, like, do what you really think, like, for fashion, if you never wear what you really think looks good, then, like, then you never have the chance of like starting a trend, because like other people might think you also look good, and if you never give it a chance, then you'll never know. And then like also, if people do judge you based on what you personally like, just like ignore them, because they're irrelevant
it's so
to your
true.
life.
They are
like,
it's like that. It's like so true. Like, if let's think about it this way, like if there's there's like a group of people and they don't like what you wear and they don't like, you know, like your personality and whatever. They don't like the jokes that you make, but you so desperately want to be friends with them. Now let's just say you become friends with them and you hang out with them all the time. Then what are you really getting out of that? You're attaching yourself to people who don't even care about you, who don't even like you. Why would you surround yourself with that kind of energy? As opposed to having someone who enjoys your style, likes your sense of humor. That's so much more valuable. And I think it really puts it into perspective when people are caring so much about what they're putting online, you know, like, some random person is gonna, like, bash me in the hate comment, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's terrible.
Yeah. For me, like, from personal experience, I feel like on Instagram, I sometimes get, like, nervous about, like, posting something on my story or, like, on my post, and I'm scared, like, oh, people are gonna think I'm, like, stupid, or, like, why am I doing this?
Oh my god.
And then like, but then, like, I post it, and then people comment all, like, the nice comments, and, like, it's just, like, so different from what I expected. And then I realized, like, why was I so nervous beforehand if it was just all gonna be, like, nice people? Because, like, on Instagram, it's, like, technically all your friends, right? And then, like, they're all gonna support you no matter what. And even if they do have, like, those... And then I'm thinking, and I go, like, even deeper, and I'm thinking, they're just being nice on the outside, but inside they actually have these thoughts where it's like, oh, I'm stupid or something like that. But, like, that's just me making up stuff. And I feel like,
why are you thinking so negatively? Like, think about it. You're taking a fact and you're making the worst possible, you're making the worst possible story about it. As opposed to, like, think about, what if you could be like, I post it and you're like, wow, everybody will love this. That's the best case scenario. You go straight to the worst and you only see the worst. And even when the worst is proven wrong, then you're still making up more stories about it.
Yeah, but I think, like, that's, like, so natural.
It is so normal for everyone nowadays.
Yeah, and I think, like, it's, like, for me, I think like that is because when I'm with my friends, they will talk, like, badly about someone else. And then it makes me think, behind, like, when I'm not there, they must be talking about me. So then that's what makes me have these thoughts. And then, like, I get scared because, like, some people because, like, for my friends who I'm close with, they're really nice to me and to people that they like, but then they'll talk, like, sometimes they'll talk badly about other people. And I get scared that, like, on the outside, they're just being nice to me, but then actually they're just, like, talking really badly about me, like, to other people. And I have these thoughts, and I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have, like, no friends, and I'm gonna be lonely. But then, like, I kind of just realized that, like, what wouldn't they like about me? Because, like, literally, I'm just, like, I'm nice, and, like, I kind of, like, feel like that's, like, kind of, like, the most important thing for, like, friends. Like, the first impression is always to be kind, and then afterwards you, like, get to learn more about them, and they're just, like, you learn more about, like, if they're honest, if they're loyal, and then those deeper qualities. And then I feel like if you have all of those, there's not any reason. And if they still don't like you, then it's kind of like their problem on their end and not really my problem. Because then, like, if other people like me and it's just that one single person who has these, like, negative feelings about me, then I kind of feel like it's not something that, like, it's my fault. And then I kind of realized, oh yeah, I should probably stop thinking about that. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing about that. Especially nowadays, I feel like it's something that must be said because not many people talk about this, and it's, like, kind of like a really big barrier for a lot of youth in the community because I feel like it's kind of stopping people from being creative.
It 100% is. Like, really, so many people struggle with this at my school, a lot of my friends. And honestly, I would say the one thing that's helped me, it might be super duper hard, but is to, like, give yourself a time limit or get your parents to give yourself a time limit on social media or delete it completely, which might be so hard. But I have, like, 3 minutes on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok combined, which is wild.
Yeah, that's so good.
But, like, it's so good because I feel like I don't waste as much time. And I also feel like, because, you know, one time I went on Instagram, I asked my mom to give me more time so I can, like, scroll through stuff. And I did it, I swear to God, like, 5 minutes. And after I got off, I was so grumpy. And I was, like, so, like, I hate my life right now. I was like, why am I feeling like this?
Yeah, I feel like because there's like that separation from being like the digital world and like reality, and then like for me too, it's like when I'm on my phone, I'm happy, like and you're like watching like Netflix, YouTube, you're happy, but then like once you get off, you have like you just get really tired.
You had a high and you have a crash.
And then you have a crash. And
it's
then
like
you
a drug.
Like, and then you think like, for example, you're on breaks from studying and then you're like on your phone and then like 5 minutes become like 10 minutes and like 30 minutes and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna start studying now. Yeah. But like you don't have the motivation anymore because like you're just like, I have a phone who makes me like, the phone makes me a lot happier, so why not just go to the phone? And I feel like that's really stopping a lot of people because like at school especially, like people in class, they're on their phone already and it's so
true.
Bad. And like I feel like time limit is like a very good thing to have, and I probably should start that soon.
You should just ask your mom to put a password.
But my mom thinks I'm dealing with it. I can deal with it on my own, and I do like manage it okay, but I feel like I could probably do a better job at it. And actually recently I tried to delete TikTok, but then when I was gonna press the delete button, but then it said it was gonna delete all my data, and then I was like thinking about it, I was like, no, I have so many like saved videos, and then like I was thinking,
if you saved it on your camera roll, then it should be fine.
Okay, yeah, but then like I was thinking like, what about the informative videos? Like the
Do you ever look at those?
Actually, no. I was actually looking at a bit of like math videos to help me, and like some people like use it as a platform to like actually share genuine information.
It's true.
But then like it slowly becomes not. Yeah, I feel like it's like a mix of both, and the negative definitely like outweighs the positive of social media. And I feel like there is like I'm doing like, okay, this is kind of like off topic, but I'm doing like this seminar like research project, and I'm actually learning about like social conformity and FOMO, and like I feel like it's like so relatable because as a teenager myself, and then like I was reading about it and they're saying like literally like 95% of students like they just like can't get off their phones because they have like this fear that they're gonna miss out of something, when it's like clearly like I guess it's kind of true because there are like social trends going around. And like for me too, like from personal experience, like I know that there's nothing on my phone but I still check it. Like what's the point of checking my phone when there's nothing on it?
So true.
And it's just like this instinct, and I feel like it's like I don't want to do it, but then like I feel like there's just like something in my mind just like wants it. Like
it's
that's
so
like that
true.
feeling, you know. And
that is, it's like it is, I'm telling you, it's a drug. And oh my god, let me tell you a story. This New Year's Eve, okay, so you know how like on New Year's everyone posts like stories of like the best parties and like everyone counting down in big groups and stuff like that. So I really wanted something like that, you know, but there were like 4 different things. There was my friends, I don't want to like name drop or anything, but there was like my friend from Rockridge was having like a nice thing with like some friends, right? And then there were 4 things that I wanted to go to. 2 of them I wanted to just drop by so I could get photos and show that I like had different groups of friends, but I knew I wasn't gonna have fun there, but I wanted to go for the photos. One of them I knew I would actually have fun at. And the last one was just like basically my entire grad class. And I knew I wasn't gonna have fun there because it's just too many people and it's like suffocating. But I wanted it for the video and for the photos so people online could see, wow, she's a big partier, like she's so in with everybody, you know what I mean? But in the end I kind of realized like I can't be 4 places at once. And to be honest, I want to be happy because that's the main thing. Like we post on social media to get attention and like and this like sort of, how do you say it?
Like that feeling that you belong.
Approval. Approval, belonging, and it all leads to the feeling of happiness. That's why we post, right? But in reality, like it's kind of contradicting because like we're taking paths that will make us unhappy to get to a product that we think will make us happy, you know? Like, if I would have gone to those 4 parties, I would have been so unhappy. But I would have had the videos and I would have posted. Still wouldn't have made me happy. But if I would have just gone, well, I did. So I just decided to go that one party. Or technically I went to the 2 other ones before. But I went to that one party. And I only posted photos from there. I was so happy there.
Yeah.
Like,
I think your feelings, like, are important, like, throughout that experience. Then, in the end, if you were unhappy in the beginning, then, of course, no matter what photos you posted, it probably would have still made you like
Exactly.
not the happiest. And I feel like, yeah, you would have been very overwhelmed if you went to all 4 of those parties.
Really would have.
Yeah, but like I know from personally knowing you that you really like photos and videos.
I love photos and videos because it like, I don't know, I think I'm just obsessed.
Like, also, like I kind of like learned from you. Like at first I'm like, oh, why should I take photos? I should just be in the moment. But then I kind of remember like memories. Like you can't really like you'll always remember it, but then like you kind of like forget it eventually, right? And just looking back on photos, it's always a nice thing. Now I'm inspired by you and I take photos sometimes.
And like it doesn't need to ruin the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Like you can take it when it's appropriate. I know I take so many photos and videos, but like it's so worth it in the end when I'm like sitting down, I'm super like tired and like, ugh, my life sucks kind of thing, which happens to everybody, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you like, I instead of going on Instagram and stuff, I go to my photos. So it's like I'm living my own life, or like I'm watching and consuming like videos and photos of my own life, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of like my own social media, but
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's like kind of nice.
Instead of Instagram, take a bunch of photos, and then you just have a bunch of photos of all your friends, yourself, your family, and then you just like,
I have like,
that's a lot more healthier. I think
it is, and it's like,
but like to get that started up, no one's gonna do it. I
know,
like,
it's too much. I mean, I have 29,000 photos, 29,648 photos, and 8,329 videos. So like, honestly, like, it's
and those
so
are like
much.
the most random photos.
Yeah,
ever.
but sometimes like
But,
I just scroll and I tap, and I zoom in, and I'm like,
and then you
at what point of my life was this, you know?
Yeah, and like you kind of remember back on it, and it's like nice,
And like every point in your life has like a different feeling with it, you know what I mean? Like when you look back on photos, you remember like how that summer felt, or you remember how stressful this period of school felt, and things like that.
So that's all the questions I have for you today, Natascha. Thank you for coming today and also answering some very deep, and you went very in depth about a lot of these questions. Thank you for that. I feel like many people who listen can like relate to it as well, and they could probably think about their own life as well if they have any of these experiences, and that also can reflect on how they now listening to you can like newly look at this situation. So yeah, thank you so much for coming today.
Of course. Stay tuned for episode 2.